consider you God and will kill for you?
Participate in the system. The system will kill you.
And you can have it right now.
Offer them something free and get them to feel obliged to give you something in return.
Well, we gave you that free dinner. You need to...
Give their bodies to you, give up their lives for you, consider you God, and will kill for you? Which front seat?
We're a Bible study group.
We're a management course. We're a meditation center.
We're a world peace organization. We're a personal development center.
We're a
Porthole to Justice. I'm your host, Amelia Duran, and happy Valentine's to everyone out there tuning in. I want to welcome my good friend David Malkin, who's been on the show before. He broke the Pizzagate story back in 2005, 2006, here live on the Porthole to Justice. And he's back. He's live from Vietnam, and this show is going to get interesting. Welcome. Are you there? David, are you there? You never know. These conversations always get really wild, right? Can you hear me? Okay, I've got a poor connection. Let's try this again. He's calling in live from Vietnam, so... David? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Okay. Maybe he'll call me back. So David's been on the show before. He's a good friend of mine since gosh, it's been 8 years. I can't even believe it's been that long. All right, let's see. Join. Hi, welcome to the Porthole to Justice. We're live. Can you hear me? David?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Awesome.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. We're live.
Okay, so I want to say two things before we get started. Now, it's been a while. I haven't spoken to our dear Miss Amelia for a while, only because of the fact that I had some personal matters to attend to, and it's the same then to a degree as it is now, which is sometimes I disappear because it's safer for the other people that I know. I'm not, per se doing anything dangerous, but there's things that are in play that I think create a bit of a problem for the people around me, and I I don't have the proper language to communicate to them at that moment how to protect themselves from some of the things that I have to deal with on a not so much regular basis, but just, I have some issues that I don't think I want other people to have to deal with that are, definitely a part of what we do.
Yeah. So I naturally, I'm always happy to hear from you because of that. And I'm thrilled that you're going live with me today because I love our conversations.
Well, I want to say this and just kind of bring it home. Just to kind of touch on it. Are your audience aware of what our topic is today?
We're talking about biowarfare, and just give us a little bit about your background, and how you came about being so knowledgeable on this topic.
I did a lot of research, but I was in the Marine Corps. I did a lot of NBC training, a lot of other cross training. My major profession in the Marine Corps was telecommunications and linguist. But I want to say that definitely a lot of my training from my NBC training stuck with me. I was in from like 2002 to 2007. But what I really want to kind of like point out to everybody is this, which is if I make a handbag, and I want to explain. I want to say this just to kind of. How much time do we have today? I'm sorry, before I even get started.
I have as much time as we can squeeze in, as my batteries will allow.
Okay, cool. So let me try to be as quick as I can. Then, so here's the situation. China's good at copying. We all know this. They decided, first of all, coronavirus originated in the Middle East. It's a known respiratory problem. And that's where it came from. I don't know exactly how the virus evolved beyond that, but I can tell you that the current state of the coronavirus, and I love how they put novel, meaning this is different from the original one, right? Where we got that, because we're living in a world where people are running around finding new viruses, finding out how those viruses affect living organisms, and then they start trying to figure out what are ways to weaponize those. It's just the nature of the beast. Like, biowarfare isn't so much about, let me find this virus and make it. Let me find this virus, make it, and find how to counter it in case someone else does that. So people are looking for microbes in the environment that are lethal if tweaked or managed, so that way if someone else finds it, they can do it. However, again, we're talking about China. They don't want to pay for the R&D, so they're going to steal the technology. And it is a technology at this point. In fact, it's not even like, let me be honest. We're not even dealing with a virus per se. We're dealing with nanotechnology. And people are going to say, oh, nanotechnology. People immediately think small, tiny machines. What you have to understand is that if you look on the periodic table, there's only 90 elements. Every element after the number 90 is all man-made. I don't care what anyone tells you. These are all naturally occurring things. But the point that I'm trying to, demonstrate here is the fact that we're dealing with a situation where when I say it's nanotechnology, it's been tweaked. It's been tweaked in such a way where base pairs have been put in it so that it has certain types of chemical receptors on it. That's why when you look at the picture that's the picture they're showing us, right? That we keep seeing. But you have to understand something. When you're looking at those pictures, you immediately, in your mind, as a reflex, I want everyone to do this. Anytime someone shows you a picture of a bacteria or a microorganism that's considered cellular or even single cellular, you are looking at a literally finely stacked crystalline structure of any one of only maybe about 60% of those elements on the periodic table. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because biological life forms that are cellular all the way up to larger tissue macro scale organisms are a finely, I wouldn't say finely, but a pretty rudimentarily remember, there's only about 55, maximum 60 different elements that go into making up human organisms and or adding on them different attachments and components and accessories or applications at the biological scale. But even those, the image you're looking at when you see the coronavirus is every single part of it is just a configured stack of elements. The reason why I'm telling you this is that because elements, their active functional state is basically I'm either transferring atoms into me, taking on atoms, and then I become a caution, and then I go from becoming a caution to, unstable, from unstable to, or I go from unstable to a caution, from a caution to what's known as an ionized substance, meaning that now that I've got more, electrons in me than I originally had, I'm starting to become a little active. I'm starting to emit radiation to a degree. It's important for you to remember that. And then you have atoms that are, emitting electrons. And in the process of emitting electrons, these atoms are, if I'm wrong, somebody correct how I'm phrasing this. I don't mind. I'm not married to my correctness. But as I understand it from also my time studying to become a naturopathic doctor and a lot of other chemistry and a few other tech-related fields, what I was able to realize was that as an atom starts to dispense electrons, it's becoming less unstable to a degree. But here's something to keep in mind: what does almost every element turn into the moment it becomes overly active through thermodynamic means, meaning whether it's radiation heat or whether it's thermal radiation or it's electromagnetic radiation. Once a certain amount of electrons pass into an atom of a particular element, it immediately drops down to becoming burned, and that's because it turns into carbon. So once that atom can no longer So here's something to think about. As electrons go out and electrons go in, an atom of any element will allow for the Gauss field that allows them to bond to, as atoms go out, the Gauss field becomes stable. As atoms come in, the Gauss field becomes unstable. This instability causes the molecular structure or the single atom to vibrate. This vibration creates heat in the form of thermal radiation. And on occasion, it can even create electromagnetic fields. However, certain metallic substances, after they heat up, the electromagnetic field no longer it will no longer hold, but you still may find yourself in a situation where you'll get a different effect, which is plasmic, or a plasmid will start to occur. But the point is that it immediately turns into carbon. I'm telling you all this to inform you that the thermal radiation that's created, or even the electromagnetic radiation, causes these molecules to trigger. Now, keep that in mind, because that's where we're going next, which is, so when you look at the way the Chinese tend to copy people's technology, in this situation, we've been hearing a lot of things about people saying, oh, so the Chinese have used a variant of, some sort of virus, or I'm going to tell you, you'd have to be a complete moron not to know that the Chinese created that. Seriously, you would have had to been a complete moron. And I say that for just obvious reasons that I'm not going to bother going into right now. But what I can tell you is this. Someone will come out and say, oh, no, it came from the U.S. Well, it's very likely that the SARS variant might have, but we don't really know that. But at the time when SARS originally, arose, definitely the U.S. was involved in some things. You can go online and look up the patent for any number of diseases right now, or viruses that have affected everyone, from Ebola to whatever. But the question becomes, were these viruses patented before or after the outbreaks, and how much time prior after that was the actual vaccine or some sort of quote-unquote antidote, patented for the market for that purpose of selling it to counteract it, right? So problem, reaction, solution. But the point I'm getting at is, in this case, we're dealing with nanotechnology. This is not a normal virus. The reason why it's not a normal virus is because It's based on what I'm hearing from a lot of different impartial, open